Let's go. Running
Well, well,
routes. Week
hit me
15,
on over.
ladies. Week 15, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on, Char?
Sunday, Sunday, Sunday.
Uh,
Feeling good. Feeling good. Let's make some picks. Call the rest of this slate. Hopefully, y'all benefited from our previous shows this week, Saturday and Thursday night show, and we're here to bombard you with our thoughts on Sunday.
Big shout out to Brady and Sam. Big shouts.
Yes.
So we're taking a gander here at the Atlanta Falcons, 6-7, traveling on down to Carolina to fly around the Panthers, 1-12. The last time these two teams met, Atlanta 24, Carolina 10, September 10th, 2023. Okay, we're looking at an over-under of 34 and a half. Atlanta, who is the away team, is giving up 3 in this to go on down to the Carolina Panthers. Char, what do you think? Is there any way that the Panthers could muster up enough offense and defense to get 2 wins on the season here?
I think there's the potential for a trap game here, but I'm a roll Atlanta. I think the Panthers have the capability to cover. I think when they played at the beginning of the year, the Falcons were actually playing better ball at that point in time. They've just been very inconsistent. The Falcons have been, but they've been squeaking by. They've been winning games. Not a lot, obviously. You look at the division, but give me the Falcons here. I really don't want to touch the spread. I really don't want to touch the over under on this one.
No doubt.
What
I
you got?
hear I hear you. It's been a lot of losses consecutive for the Panthers here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the Falconians giving up to 3. I'll take the over 34 and a half. Just because, Atlanta's
It's low.
trying to get going here if they want to try to make a push for the division and make a push for the playoffs. It's now or never, folks. And I think if Atlanta's going to do it, they're going to have to fly from here on out. So I don't see why we can't try and start with the 11 and 12 Panthers. But you're right, though. I could potentially end up seeing a trap game here. It's possible.
Divisional opponent.
Right. No doubt. No
Can't
doubt.
take those lightly.
No doubt. All right. We're going to go ahead and, unless you have anything else to add here on the Falconians and the Panthers, we're
Feed,
going to move on here. We got
feed
Bears and
Drake London.
we got Chicago Bears 5-8 taking a look at the Cleveland Browns here, both on a winning streak here, coming off of. Do you think that this game could potentially end up being a squeaker by the Bears and knocking the Cleveland Browns down a peg here? What do you think about that?
I think the potential for a letdown for the Browns is pretty high here. I'm actually going with the Bears on this one. I like the way their defense has been playing. They've been causing turnovers. I think Justin Fields is a dynamic that the Cleveland Browns don't possess in this game. As much as I love Cleveland's defense, I think the fact that Fields can provide that mobility and his arm strength, I think he can make enough big plays to where the Browns might not be able to keep up in this one. So I like the Bears here. I like the Bears on the upset. I think I want to shade towards the over in this one too, depending on the weather. If the weather's bad, maybe I kind of rearrange that. But at this point in the
Right.
week, I like the over. How about you?
No doubt. I'm going to go ahead here and I'm going to take the Cleveland Browns here. I'm going to take them giving up the points and I'll take it on the over just in case this number one defense can potentially end up letting some things up. But the defense been playing well. And Joe Flacco's really putting in some work here. You got to watch out for them trying to make a push. Number one defense here. Playoff time, people. What else you
No,
got here?
I can definitely see that recipe.
Got anything else here on the Cleveland Browns? We're just gonna keep it just rolling here. What Tampa Bay Buccaneers, ladies and gentlemen. Tampa Bay Buccaneers here on a playoff spot, trying to make a push. Okay, it's 6-7 against the Green Bay Packers, who are also in the hunt as well, trying to make a push. Okay, for their division. third. Tampa's leading the division, but it's a three-way tie. So you can't be playing around. Both these teams are battling in their own divisions to try and make a push for the playoffs. Who do you got in this one, Char?
I don't like the Packers dropping 3, but I do think the Packers end up winning. They've been more consistent of late than the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
Both of us, I think, had the Bucks last week, including Brady. We were right on the money on that one. I think this is a tall ask for the Florida team to go up there in the cold and the Packers and take this one. Although I think they're going to be very game. I like the Packers here. I'll take the Packers. Not really touching the, don't know what to make of the point spread on that one too with the 41.5. I guess I'd lean over because I think both offenses are capable of getting into the low 20s, but not a hard lean. How about you?
Yeah, I honestly see it, especially the fact that the Giants put up 24 on them. I definitely see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers having a tad bit of a better passing game than the New York Giants had. But I just really think that Matt LaFleur is going to get everything together this week for them, and they're going to go ahead and they're going to bounce back. Atlanta being the divisional opponent that they were for Tampa a week ago, divisional game there. It was a hell of a game at that. The Bucs ended up pulling it out. They're on a 2-game win streak, but their other win is also the Carolina Panthers. So I'm going to just go ahead and think that the Green Bay Packers are going to come in and put that 2-game win streak down in the dirt. What do you got? You got anything else on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Green Bay Packer game?
No, I mean Mike Evans has had a spectacular year. Baker has played steady. I think this is going to be a really good game, a close one. But yeah, it's the Packer. Matt LaFleur, you touched on him. He got his first loss in December last week. There was a bunch of hype around. He was 15-0 in the month of December since taking over for the Packers, which surprised the hell out of me because I thought they struggled last year with Rodgers. But so that was his first loss in the month of December. I think it's such a tough ask for those Southern teams to go up north at this time of year. You got to be well prepared, and us Florida boys tend not to well prepared in the cold.
No doubt. Chicago Bears 21, Cleveland Browns 20. Last time these two teams had seen each other. Or no, that was the Cleveland Browns.
Talking about the Bucks and the Pack.
My fault.
Eddie?
So we got moving on here. We got the New York Jets, okay, going down to Miami Gardens, 9-4. Miami Dolphins, 5-1 at home. One of the best teams at home. One of the best, not the best, but one of the 5-1. Jets, 5-8, 2-3 on the road. Just having a huge game against the Houston Texans. New York Jets, 30-6. Dolphins losing to the Tennessee Titans by 1. They were saying the officiating was just crazy in this game. What do you got on the Miami Dolphins New York Jet game?
Yeah, that was a great win by the Jets. Probably one of their best wins, probably since Buffalo of the season, and then maybe the Philly game. I think the Dolphins need to watch out here. I think they could proverbial F around and find out real
Upset
quick.
alert.
Yeah, I think it's upset alert. I definitely like the Jets with the points. I think this one's going to go over. The total's at 37.5. Most of the Dolphins home games, I think damn near all of them have gone over in the total this season. It could be a bright, sunshiny day. The Jets are still hanging on to a thread of hope of eking in the playoffs in the back door, and I think they're going to get everything the Jets got to offer. The Fins are banged up. They lost Connor Williams, their center, for the season last week. And then obviously Tyreek Hill being banged up. If he's not 100%, that offense looks totally different, but they still got the horses. I'm going to side with the Fins to ultimately eke this one out, but I think it's going to be dangerously close for them. And I do like the over, but I'll go Fins.
No doubt. Yeah, I mean, glimmer of hope here for if you're a New York Jet fan. I'm hearing on the Pat McAfee show, Aaron Rodgers talking about how he was just, practicing a little bit after practice with the threes, just slinging the rock around, throwing it around, not doing too much. So that is that is good news coming out of Jets camp. Last time these two teams faced each other, Miami Dolphins 34, New York Jets 13, November 24th, 2023. They handled them. But, the Jets have been playing better since that game. But I think Miami's really got to bounce back here. It's going to be a home game. It doesn't matter Tariq plays or not. They better show up and they better show out because they're talked about as a team that could be a problem in the playoffs and that they're championship caliber. Are you championship caliber if you can't beat the teams in your division? They won the first game, but will the recipe for it be the same this time? I think so. I think you go out there, get rid of the ball quick, don't do nothing crazy, and don't make any mistakes. I think that being accomplished, I think the Dolphins win. I don't like the 10 or the 8.5. Sorry, I don't like the 8.5. I too feel an overcast coming. I do as well. I think Zach has played well last week. I think potentially, and I think he won AFC quarterback of the week, or game of the week. So I think that you're right. This potentially could be a recipe for upset, but I don't know that it will materialize. I think that the Miami Dolphins are going to definitely go ahead and take the dub on this one. So we got moving.
Yeah, it's major game for the Dolphins right now. You can't afford to let this one slip out of your fingers because I think they got the Bills on the slate. They got the Cowboys on the slate coming up next week. So this is one you gotta have. But I don't think it's gonna be easy. I don't think the Jets are gonna lay down. They haven't really laid down for anybody this year as much crap as they've had to navigate.
No doubt. I mean,
game.
yeah, no doubt. I mean, you just want to start firing on all cylinders now. You're literally, it's literally that time of year. It's time
Absolutely
to get
right.
firing. I mean, they've played well all year. It'd really be a shame to have all that talent and everything that they've done get wasted down the stretch here because Buffalo's really starting to look strong. Speaking of Buffalo in New York, let's go take a look at the New York Giants 5-8 traveling down to the Dome to go down to New Orleans and see the Saints. Okay, we're taking a look. We're taking a look over here at the over and the under is 39.5. New Orleans is giving up 6 points at the Dome. Giving up 6 at the Dome. That's a lot of points at home. Giving it up straight to the Giants and a hot DeVito right now. Okay, last time these two teams seen each other, 2021, you're talking New York Giants 27, New Orleans Saints 21. Charlie. Forget about it. What are we talking about here? New York Giants, New Orleans Saints. What do we got, Char, slated?
With all the good feelings off of Monday night's game, which it was incredible, and it was great atmosphere there in New York Giants Stadium. And yeah, that one played out pretty much how I kind of expected it to. And hats off to the Giants that played an incredible game. I think this one's going to be much tougher of a scenario being on the road. Saints, another team that we talked about, Bucks and Atlanta, they're tied with in the division. Huge game for them. I like the Saints minus the points, and I feel like they're going to handle the Giants kind of easily in this game. I do like what the Giants have done, pushing through a lot of adversity. Yet another team that's battled complete dismantlement at points in time in this season, injuries and stuff. So they played great games, but I think even though the Saints have been very inconsistent and very hard to saddle up on, think the Saints do get this one. I think they cover the 6. How about you?
No
Got to
doubt.
give you some hope what you saw last week.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's giving me hope. We're 5-8. I really at this point would just like us to lose the rest of the game so we can get a good pick. That's just how I feel because I'm trying to get talent on the team and I want the bestest of talent that we could possibly potentially get, and that's why the Saints are gonna win this. I'm giving up the 6. I'm taking the over. I'm taking the over because I think DeVito could probably put a couple up there and score some points. So I'm gonna take the over.
Yep.
Forget about it. Forget about a win. You know what I mean? What do we got here? Moving on. We got the Texans Titans. I don't friggin' like this one. Are you kidding me? This one here was a tough one. Throw this one out the window. I don't like none of it. I don't like nothing they're trying to give me here on this one here. I don't like none of this on the Tennessee Titans, Houston Texans. What am I getting? Who's playing? Is he playing? Is he going to be cleared? Concussion protocol? These are important questions. I got to know. This is important.
Watching that hit he took and the way he reacted to that hit, if I was Houston, even if he passes concussion protocol, I would let him sit a week. You've seen enough out of C.J. Stroud to know he's your future. I know that it'd be a great story for them to come on and make the playoffs, but I mean, you counterbalancing that with possibly your future. You've seen what happened to Tua last year. You saw what happened to Pickett last year, suffering multiple concussions. Daniel Jones, even we were talking about the Giants. So I don't think you chance it with this kid. And as a result, I think this game is going to be downright ugly. I like the under on this one. I like the Titans squeaking by. I think the Texans might be able to cover. But I think it's the dub. And if I could send a memo to Houston, just rest the kid and let him come back the next week. You still got a shot to win the playoffs. And this is a Tennessee Titans team that is beatable by you. But I think you throw up extra caution when you're talking about a potential franchise quarterback like this. There's not a lot of reasons for me other than you feel like you can make some playoffs, which is very well they could with the way he's played. But I think you want him 100%. How about you, Ed?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you got, the Houston Texans 7-6, an incredible season for them. Tennessee Titans 5-8, struggling this season. Absolutely. But if he doesn't play and he's not cleared, which I haven't heard him being cleared, obviously it's today's Wednesday, so we'll
probably won't get word on that till Friday night, Saturday type of deal.
We'll hear a little later. So I'm just going to base my pick off the fact that he's not playing because he's not cleared when I'm making this decision. I'm going Tennessee Titans here. I'll even go Tennessee Titans giving up the points. Or are they giving? No, they're giving up 3. And I'm going to take the under here because Davis Mills, I pegged him, my rookie player to improve the following season because of how decent of a game he had against the Patriots down the stretch, and that just didn't work out for me. And I don't know that it's going to work out for the Texans this week if he's got to start. So I'm going Tennessee Titans because I know Vrabel will go ahead and game plan and try to exploit whatever it is that Davis Mills is going to be able to do in this game. So I'm taking the Texans.
The Titans.
Sorry, Titans. Yeah, I want the Texans because I think if Stroud plays, they got an incredible chance of winning this game. No Stroud, though. I just can't.
Yeah, the Texans are also banged up with Nico Collins. They're banged up with Dalton Schultz. Obviously, they lost Tank Dell 2 weeks ago. Like, they're really banged up. Like I said, with that offensive line, and have trusted weapons available too, I really don't like squeezing C.J. Stroud in there a week off of that type of concussion. Like, that looked like a bad one. I've had a couple of concussions in my life. Some of them been kind of slight, but I remember getting one when I was younger, and literally everything was going back and forth like this. And those type of deals, man, I think you rest. I think you rest the kid. You don't want to chance it.
No doubt. All right. Moving on. We got the Kansas City Chiefs, 8-5, going into New England, 3-10. Got the over/under 37.5. KC's given 7.5. The last time these two teams seen each other, October 5th, 2020, Kansas City Chiefs 26, New England 10. Charlie, what do you think about the Kansas City Chiefs coming off the terrible loss to Buffalo, going against a Patriot team that's getting a dub against this Pittsburgh team that's struggling? Is this a bounce back game for the Chiefs?
I will say this about the Chiefs. Play better and you don't have to worry about the refs messing up the game on the final drive. Just beat teams and get out the leads, especially when you're at home, teams you should beat, stuff like that. You won't have to worry about the refs messing it up. You won't worry about that hold call, that offsides call, any of that stuff. That stuff set aside, I agree, or I do think this is a bounce back game for KC. I think they handle business. It's kind of surprising to me to see the point spread has dropped from its original line of 9 down into the 7s personally. I think KC covers this. I don't think they have any problems with New England. I think they're going to come in, very upset and they're going to execute and there's going to be extra attention to detail. I think, this is a very good team and a championship team. They're, as mad as they were and as upset about the feelings and all that stuff, that coaching staff realizes the things that they need to do better and they're going to get refocused, and I think they handle business against the Pats. I don't think they're going to be in danger of letting this one slide through their fingers. I like this one kind of on the under too. I think Chiefs just control it, keep them down, and win the game. How about you, Ed?
Yeah, I could definitely see the Kansas City Chiefs definitely winning this game and taking the under in this. I like the Kansas City Chiefs in this game going to Foxborough. The New England Patriots have struggled mightily, but they're definitely going to try and show up at home and be a defensive unit and give Mahomes a problem. So I definitely could see the under being a thing. Outside of that, though, I don't know what this offense is going to be able to muster up and accomplish on this 6th-ranked Kansas City Chiefs defense with a 28th ranked offense, and how much they've been struggling and they're switching quarterbacks in and out trying to find a guy to make plays or to just not turn the ball over and make mistakes. They're not playing mistake-free balls. It's very unlike the Patriots. It's almost like the Patriots that looked like what they looked like before they changed their uniforms. It's not a good look. It almost looks like some games that he's not even the coach anymore. It doesn't look like a Belichick coach team really on any day. I mean, there's some games the defense shows up, but the offense has not been there. We're used to Tom Brady slinging the rock, them dumping it down to 100 different running backs. You don't know who's going to get the ball.
Exactly.
There's none of that now. We're not seeing any of that. Nothing's working offensively. It's just tough. The Kansas City Chiefs just got beat on a crazy play at the end of the game. I don't know that that's what beat them, right? But like Charlie said, you don't want to leave it in the referee's hands because, if you're already winning that game, then that play doesn't matter and it's null and void and you're not running down the sidelines trying to get physical with a freaking zebra. Kansas City Chiefs, man.
Well said.
It's tough, man. It's tough, but I think this one they're going to bounce back. Moving forward here, taking a look at our next game slated, which is going to be, potential good one I see in my mind, because San Francisco 49ers are coming off just an incredible win streak right now, putting up numbers offensively, defensively, 10-3. They're 5-2 away, going to Arizona to bang with the 3-10 Cardinals. Okay, over/unders 47.5, and San Francisco's given 12.5. Charlie, that's a big number.
It
12
is
and
a
a
big number.
half, Char. You think the San
It is a
Francisco
big.
you think the San Francisco 49ers covered 12 and a half? As good as that team's been doing, number 2 in offense, 7 in defense. But the Cards got Kyler Murray back. What's going on?
Yeah, it's funny because last week against Seattle, the number got up to 13 and a half last week too. And I thought that was way high. I think San Fran covers this one. I really don't see a way that the Cardinals just turn it on against San Francisco. You know, it's a road game, but San Francisco should handle business on this one. I can't think of too much of a scenario, barring some kind of injuries with San Francisco, that the Cardinals can hang around for 4 quarters in this one and make it close, kind of like Seattle did, and give them a little bit of a scare last week.
Yeah.
I think the 49ers realize how important each and every game is at this point in the season. They're a veteran ball club at this point. I do like the under on this one too. I think they hold the Cards down. I don't think San Fran has to score a lot of points. I like it like a 27-10 type of ball game, somewhere in that range. So the cover is a possibility to me.
Seattle covered
But
last
San
week.
Fran, yeah, but San Fran should take care of business, and I kind of like them to cover and the under. How about you?
Yeah, I really didn't want to take the 12. I feel like I would take, if I'm taking the points, I feel like I would take the Cards to cover. It's
It
tough for
feels
me
like
to.
bait to me though. You
Yeah.
see that big number, and it's like, oh man, I feel like that's a bait one though.
Yeah, you feel like they cover?
Yeah, I do.
All right, I'm taking the Niners and I'm taking the under as well. I had them slated for the under, but I just didn't mark the 12 I didn't mark the 12-5 cuz it was scary. I'm like, it's not Halloween, it's fucking Christmas. What are we doing here? So I'll go ahead and mark it down now.
Agreed. Agreed.
Go ahead and mark it down here now. I mean, the Arizona Cardinals hasn't shown you much, 3-10, but they got Kyler Murray back, okay, and they beat Pitt. I didn't think they were going to do that. They put 24 up on Pitt. Pitt's got a decent defense, but they lost to the Rams. Ladies and gentlemen, another divisional game, but you go back, they lost to Houston, beat Atlanta, didn't score a point on the number one defense in the league, which was struggling at that time, the Cleveland Browns. So, that's why it's any given Sunday, and we'll go ahead and see on Sunday. But we're going to go ahead and get it rolling here, keep it moving. Looking at the Rams here and the Los Angeles Rams and the Washington Commanders here. Commanders going in to the Los Angeles Rams 4-9. Rams are 6-7 in the hunt, trying to make the playoffs. Okay, Rams are 6.5, giving up. Over under is 50.5. That sounds like a lot for the Commanders
Right.
and a Rams team, which the Commanders offensive line leaking like a sieve. Yeah, maybe the back half of the Commanders defense is going to let some stuff up, but I feel like the front part is definitely going to make some noise there. I think they're decent against the run. I think it could be a decent game. How about you, Char?
I think this is going to be a really good game. I am not buying Rams dropping 6.5 though. I don't know when they went into kind of borderline elite mode to be able to drop 6.5 on a team. Washington coming off the bye. Washington hasn't been bad. They haven't been bad against that particular division either, giving Seattle a run for their money. I think they ended up actually winning that game earlier. But I do like the over, even though it's high. I do like the over. I think both these teams are going to score, and they're going to score a lot. And this is going to be a fun game to watch. We've seen the Rams score. I think this is an upset alert for Washington. I definitely like them getting the points. I think that's one of my locks of the week is Washington plus the 6.5. Um, Rams better be careful here. It's a huge game when they should win. Now, they should be favored in my mind, but I think 6.5 is that's almost a touchdown. And offensively, weapons wise, not a lot of difference between these two teams. Although Washington bottom 3 or 4 in points allowed, so I do like the over. Maybe the Rams escape with this one, but I definitely like Washington with the 6.5 here. How about you?
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, it's just the Commanders are just it's such a tough one because you don't know who you're gonna get. Is
Absolutely
this
not.
going to be a
Yeah.
consistent team? Are we going to get like what are we going to get? You're talking about 32 ranked defense going up against 10th ranked Rams offense. You got their 18th ranked defense of the Rams going up against the 16th ranked offense of the Commanders. So Hal has been slinging the rock and throwing it around. 3,400 yards, 18 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. That's something you're going to want to clean up. But he's a young man, he's rookie. Year
He's had to
two,
throw a lot though too.
and he's not really getting the help there to stop him. But I just think that the Rams are in the hunt. McVay knows what's at stake. Okay, this is a home game. Rams are not going to be playing around. And the Commanders are going to have to be on their best behavior if they want to come in here and try and knock off a Rams team that's like, look, no one even looked our way. Almost kind of like a Seattle type situation. You got so much
Yeah, absolutely.
bulletin board material over there for the Rams right now. I just think the Rams take this one. I'll give up the points. I think the under because I think McVay's going to be able to game plan. I think you got Aaron Donald that could really end up getting maybe 3-4 sacks this game. You're going to have to account for it. It's going to be a problem. You're going to have guys flying off the edge at this quarterback. I think the Commanders will score some points, but they will not be in command of this. I'm taking the Rams with the points on the under. I just think it's playoff football time here, folks, and Riverboat's driving that thing for his job. I just think the Rams are trying to win a game here.
Yeah, he is.
So I think we're
For
gonna
real.
go. I think we're gonna go ahead and move on here. I think
Yeah,
that
this
was.
next
I think
next one's a banger.
I think this one here coming up is really something to talk about. Then actually the next two, to be fair, the next two are really something to be
Mm.
talking about. Okay, and what are you talking about? The last two games that are slated on this sheet here are two incredible games that you definitely can't discount either one of these four teams. They're really looking good down the stretch here. Some concerns though. I'm looking at the Cowboys, the Dallas Cowboys 10-3, going up to Orchard Park, Buffalo Bills 7-6. Okay, you're talking about over under 50 and a half, and Buffalo is favored at home 2.5. Okay, interesting. Buffalo 26, Dallas Cowboys 15 points. Last time these two seen each other, November 28th, 2019. Charlie, very interesting game being played at a very interesting time. Who needs this game more?
Buffalo. Buffalo needs this one more. It's interesting with the line. It's been bouncing back and forth, and I think this game is going to be that close. Now that it's back at 2.5, earlier today it was at 1.5. Now it's back to 2.5. I flip over to the boys and give me those 2.5 points. Um, this is a game that tears at me. I feel like Buffalo wins it. I really, but I can see Dallas winning it too. I think this is the game of the week as far as just like it's gonna be like the nail biter at the end um, type of situation. I think there's gonna be final drives. I think you're gonna see Dak and Josh Allen at their finest. I think both quarterbacks are gonna look MVP caliber in this one, and it's gonna be a fun one. I like the over, even though it's a high 50 points. That's a pretty hefty total, but both of these offenses are capable of putting up those type of points. And I think both of the offenses cause the opposing defenses problems. Josh Allen with his arm, he'll be able to get Gabe Davis deep. He'll be able to get Stephon Diggs in space. And I think Dak is going to be able to do the same type of situation with working CD Lamb across the middle and everything that's been working and the plethora of weapons that the Cowboys have. So I like points in this game. And if it's, when it comes down to it, I like the boys getting the 2.5. My pick, I guess I'll ride Buffalo at home, but really think this one could go either way. How about you, Ed?
Yeah, I mean Buffalo's 5-2 at home, and the boys are 3-3 on the road.
Yeah.
They'll be playing on grass, right? Or is that turf in Orchard Park?
I think it's the synthetics.
Doesn't say here. It just says Orchard Park game weather
Yeah, I don't
capacity.
think it's grass.
Be an
Turfy.
interest, be an interesting thing to know if I knew offhand. I think I'm gonna take the boys here. Obviously, Buffalo's gonna be crazy about beating the Kansas City Chiefs, but Dallas is on an absolute run right now. 41 against Seattle, who has played the division well. Philly, they shut down 13 points. Philly scored. They put 33 up on a Philadelphia Eagles defense that a season ago arguably was being looked at as, one of the best in a while. Talking crazy about numbers. Jalen Hurts are putting up in this and that. And the boys still can't do enough. People still have so much doubt about the boys and Prescott and how he's just a game manager. Well, if all you got to do is manage, then why try and be more than a manager? I mean, they're really slating it up right. And Buffalo's, on the other hand, Buffalo's clicking at a very good time. Even though they lost to Philly in overtime, I think if Philly gave them the problem that Philly did, I think Dallas, who's clicking hard right now, and a lot of people are just still writing off, that's going to start rubbing Cowboys the wrong way. I mean, I think that this game, Dallas wins this. If Dallas wins this, then I think we got to put it all to bed and watch out for them in the playoffs. And I think they're going to be a strong team. If you can go ahead,
Who do you think it matters more to?
I think this game matters more to Dallas. I mean, because I think Buffalo could still get in there if they lose. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
I think, because Buffalo's still going to be a strong team if they lose this game. But I mean, you take a look at standings, and I mean, Buffalo's the second best team in their division. Obviously Cleveland, you got to worry about, but outside of that, everybody else is 7. So, I mean, you really got an opportunity. If all the teams lose this week, if Steelers, Bengals, and Jacksonville, which very well every one of them could end up losing, I mean, Indy, the Colts, I mean, in that whole situation, that division gets shooken up. I mean, it starts to look crazy, but it matters more for Buffalo because they're not in it. I mean, Dallas is in it. I mean, they're in it no matter what. Like that record, 10-3, and they're a wild card spot.
It's tough for Dallas because even if they win out, they can't win the division unless Philly loses again. So it's a tough scenario. Dallas seems kind of destined to be that 5 seed unless something happens.
Well, they got to win out. It's hard to say. They got to win outright, but it's hard to say that they can't win a division. But irregardless, if they win a division, they can't win the conference because if they tie with the 49ers, they lose that tie because they lost to them. So there's no possible way for a tiebreaker to even matter for Dallas. So they're kind of like in a position where, look, we need to win outright because we got to get home field advantage at least once, right? And Dallas is putting 30 a game up. I mean, they're putting up some gaudy numbers when it comes to scoring points, all right?
For sure.
You know what I mean? And to sit here and think that like 17 points or 20 points was good enough to beat KC. I mean, they put 33 up on Dallas. They put 41 up on Seattle, 45 on Washington, 33 on Carolina, 49 on the Giants. Yeah, the last 3 don't matter, but the other
sounds
2
a little
do.
better than a game manager to me.
But the other 2 do.
Yeah.
Philly, that mattered. That game mattered. And then for Buffalo to lose to Philly, I see Dallas coming in like with a chip on their shoulder, and that pass rush is going to get to Allen. Let's not forget, you got Parsons, you got some hitters on that squad, bro. It's going to be a game for them. Buffalo's going to have their hands full.
Absolutely.
For sure. All right.
Game of the week for me.
All right. Moving on here. Okay, taking a gander at the rest of the slate that we got lined up here. We're talking about Baltimore Ravens 10-3 going on down to Jacksonville to take a look at the 8-5 Jaguars. Baltimore's the favorite here, giving up 3. The over-under is 45.5. Okay, and I don't know, is the Baltimore Ravens the best team in the AFC? Is the Jacksonville Jaguars going to be it if Trevor Lawrence can't stay healthy down the stretch? I mean, I don't think this game really matters to the Baltimore Ravens because they're winning their division no matter what. I think this game matters more to Jacksonville considering their entire division except one team is behind them, scratching and clawing to get in there for a playoff berth. Okay, the last time these two teams seen each other, November 27th, 2022, Baltimore Ravens 27, Jacksonville Jaguars pull the dub out 28. Charlie, what the F is going on here? Jacksonville Jaguars, Baltimore Ravens. What do we got?
I like Baltimore here. They're playing very good ball. Lamar, even though the numbers don't match, he's playing MVP quality ball right now. He's doing what he needs to do. He's not having to do the extra stuff. So that's going to save him when the time does come, and he's got to be a little bit more of a producer as far as offense goes. I like the Ravens. I haven't been sold on the Jags all season. I think they are a good team, but they're not a team that I think are going to be causing any trouble in the playoffs. A one-and-done team. The Ravens, on the other hand, continue to build, it feels like, week after week. And it might be small increments in which they're doing so, but they're winning games. They're winning games in different fashion. Whether last week it was more of the air attack. Weeks previous, their defense was showing up. Weeks previous to that, it was the running game in particular. So they're beating you in multiple different ways, which is a sign of a team that is well rounded. The Hamilton lost. He won't be there this week. He's got an MCL sprain, I think it was. So that's going to be big for their secondary. But I think Ravens hold on here. I like it like 27-17 at the end of the day. I think they're a better team than Jacksonville is.
Yeah,
even with a full strength Trevor Lawrence.
I absolutely agree. I mean, they're juggernauts on the road, 5-1 on the road, 10-3 record. I mean, the defense is just playing out of their mind this year. 19th ranked defense. Number 2 ranked defense with the number 6 offense. I mean, they're just absolutely doing this year what they didn't do last year. I mean, hats off to the coaching staff. Another incredible draft coupled with Lamar getting it together and getting it done right. Lamar has 16 touchdowns. Trevor Lawrence, 17 touchdowns. Lamar has 6 interceptions. Trevor's got 10. So kudos to Lamar for having a good season this year. Yeah, the passing yards isn't there, but I don't know that, moving forward, I said he needs to be a 4,000-yard passer to be an elite quarterback. And, I guess at the end of the day, no matter how I like it or anyone else likes it, Lamar Jackson is always going to be in the conversation of being what he is at quarterback and playing the position the way he plays it, like no one else plays it. And there'll be models that'll model Lamar Jackson down the line. We'll see more guys coming out of the draft, modeled after Lamar and doing things Lamar-esque.
It's funny when you hear Cam Newton say what he said, and if you look at Lamar and his numbers, he's been a game manager all season long. But you know he's not. He's electric, and it's bottled up. But you know what Lamar is at this time of the season, which he hasn't been the past couple of seasons? He's healthy. So
Yeah.
he can be that guy when he needs to put that cape on and do a little bit more. He's got the juice to do it. He's not battling these nagging injuries with better numbers, but he's battling this slight hamstring. He's battling this ankle. He's one step away from being taken off the field like he has the past couple of seasons. Right now, he's probably as healthy as he's ever been going into the playoffs since maybe his first or second year in the league. So
Watch out.
that's why I'm high on the Ravens.
Watch out. I'm taking the Ravens, giving up the points. I'll even take the under here. 42.5 seems like it's going to be a lot potentially if you got to really watch out Trevor Lawrence in this game. I'm really fearful
For
in
sure.
this game of Trevor Lawrence and that ankle. He's got a high ankle sprain. It's really something to take a look at, folks, because this number 2 Baltimore Ravens defense is flying off the edge and everywhere else. Roquan Smith's calling it out.
Pass
I
rush,
mean, you
too.
got a general in the center of the field, an absolute general. And then on the back half, these boys are holding up and holding down for the back half on that roster. So congratulations to the Baltimore Ravens and an incredible season that Lamar's been having, and vice versa for the Jacksonville Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence having a good season as well and doing as well as they've been doing this season and staying in first in the division. I mean, they've been up there for a little bit now, hanging out in first, just chilling like a villain out
What
there.
about
And
your guy on the other side of the field, Josh Allen? I know you've always liked him a lot. He's having an incredible season this season, starting to creep up there in the defensive MVP award category.
yeah, I love what was that, Kentucky or Kansas at defensive end out of
I want to say more
Kentucky.
Kentucky.
Yeah, Kentucky. Defensive end, absolute stud, man. Love that guy. And it's good to see him having a vitalized back half of his career because he really truly is a good defensive end. And ever since that defense got broken up, that, they had all them players, Miles Jack, Jalen Ramsey, all them guys. He was still always that anchor on that line. They even had Calais Campbell for a little while, I think, on that defensive line, playing at an elite level with Ngakoue and everything like that. That was a pretty decent defense they had when he came onto the scene, and he's still there doing good. Hats off to Josh Allen.
Yep, yep.
What else you got here on the Baltimore Ravens and the Jacksonville Jaguars?
It's another big game. Ravens got to keep chipping away, start to get some separation possibly in that number one seed if something happens to Miami. If Kansas City doesn't, do what they're supposed to do, they go in here, handle business to the Jags. They could create a nice lead for the one seed. And I think out of all the teams, maybe besides KC, they've got the easiest stretch of a schedule down the road. So if they can get this one on the road in Jacksonville, going to be sitting really nice and with the potential of maybe in the final game of the season, which would be massive for, again, like we're talking about with Lamar and stuff like that. A team like the Ravens, who do have some veterans on there, Odell Beckham's and stuff like that. You get those guys some extra rest. You're going in, getting a bye the first week. That's really important, I think, to a team like the Ravens.
Yeah, spoiler alert, Christian Kirk's on IR with the knee. You got a lot of guys that are on the questionable report here for both teams. A lot of guys on IR on both squads. What do you got here? You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for Jacksonville, and then you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, for the Baltimore Ravens, just to give you a little
Yeah, injuries can
indication.
really flip the script if it's the right people. I mean, watching that game with the Titans and the Dolphins, as soon as Tyreek left, it was a complete game changer offensively. So the wrong guy gets banged up, man. It can hurt you. And that Kirk injury is major. It's major. They still got Ridley. They got Zay Jones. Evan Ingram stepped up the past couple of weeks. Obviously, ETN having a great season.
He's
But
questionable
Kirk
with the
is
ribs.
Kirk is kind of the engine, that kind of makes all that flow nicely. And he's, the guy I feel like Trevor Lawrence has got the most confidence in when it's a nitty-gritty type of situation. So he's going to be missed. This is a big deal.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna miss him too. He was on my fantasy.
Yes.
Personal.
Let's get to this Monday night. Let's wrap this week up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. See what we got here. We got Monday night. Absolute banger. Okay, you got the Seattle Seahawks having the Philadelphia Eagles coming to town. 10-3 Philly. 6-7 Seattle. Okay, we're talking about 47.5 points on the over-under, and Philly is finally favored by 4 points to win a game. For two straight weeks, they were the underdog.
It's crazy.
Very interesting. Charlie, what do you got?
What I sent you earlier today, the Eagles haven't beat the Seahawks in I think it was like 13 or 15 years, which is just absolutely wild to me. Um, Not to break the hearts of Philly fans, but I'm taking the Hawks here. I think the streak continues. Philly's got quite a bit to correct, and I know you love the home field advantage with the 12th man up there in Seattle. At night, I think that's going to be a crazy tough environment, and this is borderline a do or die game for Seattle. It's pretty much a playoff game for Seattle. They don't win this one, I don't see them going to the playoffs this year. So I think they're going to let it all hang out like they did against San Francisco last week. And I think Seattle does well what the Eagles have struggled with, which is pass the ball. And I think that's going to be problematic for the secondary of the Eagles. I think the Seattle Seahawks are going to be able to score. The Eagles right now aren't scaring anybody on defense, haven't been doing it all season. And I think there's been lulls in the Philly offense to where they're not putting up points to necessarily keep up with teams either. And I think Seattle steals this one. I got Seahawks. I kind of lean to the over. I think it's going to get a little high scoring. But I'm going to take the Seahawks. How about you, Ed?
Yeah, I mean the Philadelphia Eagles have been ugly running the ball, defensively trying to stop the ball, and the defense have been atrocious on third downs. They're not doing well against the pass. They're letting up a reasonable amount of passing yards per season.
Yeah, Dak carved them up last week.
Yeah, but I think Philly's gonna bounce back here. I'm gonna give Philly giving up the points, and I'll take the over on this. I think Seattle's gonna be able to stay in it for a couple quarters and put up some points. Although I think DK in this run game could be a problem for the Philadelphia Eagles, but I just feel like as much as it's make or break for Seattle, I feel like 10-3 record, it sucks to say, but I think that Philly also is in this
Yeah,
make or break mode because you don't want Dallas to push you out of the way, even though
very
Dallas
fair.
walked right into your house and chipped you up. Or no, you went to Dallas and got chipped up. So you want to try to bring them home to you. So you want to play at your home, Financial Field, right? I think it's Financial Field. I think you want to play in Philly. You don't want to go back to Dallas in that environment and have to play them. So I think you have to win this game because moving down the field, you're going to have to play the Giants twice and Arizona. So you're going to get those three right there. If you can win this game, then potentially you can tie Dallas and win the tie. So it's huge that they
Yeah,
went
you're
out
not
right
wrong.
here.
You're not
You
wrong. It's
know,
a massive game for Philly.
but it is
You
for
lose,
Seattle as well. So
you lose three straight. And I talked about it a couple of weeks ago. Like, it was the San Francisco game, and then it was leading up to Dallas. Like, they could be in a bit of trouble, Philly, if they lost to Dallas. And then they lost to Dallas bad. I didn't think they were going to lose that bad to Dallas. This is a big game for Philly. This really could derail Philly's return back to the Super Bowl. I think it's already on the decline from what we've seen out of them the past couple of weeks.
For
But I
sure.
think this game, you lose this one. I don't care that it is at Seattle. This is a game that you should rally the troops
The
if you're a legit Super Bowl contender, and you should win. The remaining schedules like the Giants twice and Washington. So it is what it is, but you're probably not going to get more game prep ready than this stretch going into the playoffs for Philly. And this is a game you got to have, man.
No
But
doubt.
I'm not sold on anything I'm seeing from Philly, though. They haven't looked good. They haven't looked good
Well,
at all.
just like you said, the last however many games Seattle won, but the last time Seattle played them, November 30th, 2020, 23-17.
So it has
So
been a while.
it's been a while since they've played. They don't play each other often, and they haven't played Philly since Philly turned into that juggernaut last season. But Philly's also not that juggernaut from last season. So,
Not.
you know, it's interesting. I mean, the receiving and the rushing is what's really the issue here. I mean, they don't have 1,000-yard back. They got 4 rushing touchdowns from Swift. They got 12 from Hurts. Hurts is doing all the work, throwing it, rushing it. 126 rushes for only 460 yards, 12 touchdowns. Rushing the ball. He's got 19 touchdowns, throwing 10 interceptions. He's got 3,000 yards on the season, 3,192, 66.5 on the completion percentage. But I mean, Geno Smith, 64.4 on the percentage, 29.18 for the yardage, 15 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. But they
Looks
got to,
pretty similar. And Geno's had a terrible year.
no
Terrible
doubt,
year.
no doubt.
So Jalen Hurts' numbers, I mean, if you take away those 12 basically goal line rushing touchdowns, he had a couple that were maybe 10 yards. But I mean, those numbers are very dirty looking to me. As far, and then you couple in the turnovers and stuff to the situation. He hasn't played great ball this year. He really hasn't.
At
And
all.
Philly's offense and defense look nothing like what we saw last year. I don't think at any game this season, really.
No doubt. No
But
doubt.
that's week 15. And one thing I could say about our show, I really don't toot our show's horn too much, but we pick all the games every single week. All of them every single week. I see a lot of shows out there that'll throw you one pick, and it's easy to kind of, pick a
Narrow
game or
it
two
down.
that you like. Yeah, 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 yeah. So just so you guys know, you know what I mean? We're out here doing this every game, and some of these are really tough to handle, but man, we're still over the 60s on the clip as far as picking games and stuff. So keep the support. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the follows. Shoot us with your questions. We love to hear y'all's opinion. And yeah, let's
Appreciate it.
go.
Thank you.
Let's wrap it up for another week.
Running routes, baby.
Deuces.
Peace. Noise.